Good evening, everyone. Let's call to order the Joint Green Efforts Committee for April 5th, 2022. Garrett, you could take the attendance off of the
Yes.
participants list. That would be great. Okay. Tonight, moving on to item B of the agenda, public comment. We'll give it a second here. I don't think I'm seeing anybody in the public in attendance.
No, I don't see anyone either, Jenny.
Okay. Then we'll move on to item C, presentations. I don't think we have any tonight. So we'll move on to item D, administrative. So everybody have a chance to read the minutes for the March 1st, 2022 meeting? And if so, can I get a motion?
Motion to approve.
Second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Any discussion? Hearing none. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, perfect. Moving on. Item E, public education goal. Anti-idling today. Status update, Kate.
Hi, thank you, Johnny. Well, we met today at as you saw in some of the emails that I sent out recently, that we had the meeting this morning at Westwoods with Tara Vasquez and others. Alicia, oh goodness.
Omen.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Shannon and Garrett, Francie Brown, the president of the Farmington Land Trust, and Mike D'Amico came, and myself as judges for the posters that the 5th grade teams created. There were, I don't know, 100, right? There were 100
Correct.
to choose from, and we all went around and put stickies on them and chose 2 from each section. They were really good. It was kind of hard to do. I don't know, Shannon and Garrett, what you thought, but a lot of talent over there. Tara had started off with a presentation that she had put together. The kids had done a research study, which interestingly, she didn't share the data from. I think they're a little worried of actually saying what they saw, because, you know, of all the idling parents out there and the buses, there was a high rate of idling. Over 3 minutes, but she didn't delineate that. She had a bar graph and a pie chart, but just so that we know, you know, as the committee, that definitely there was idling happening over the recommended 3 minutes. So they did that at the start of their program. They had an education piece in their classrooms around this, and then the art teachers actually came up with this extensive list of sites for them to go to figure out how to make the ideal sign that was readable. So they used that, and then these kids produced these legal size, or were they legal size? Poster size.
Oh,
Yeah.
We'll
the
figure
11 by
legal size.
17 with the
Thank you.
ledger. Yep.
Yeah, posters. And so now, after we've chosen these, the decisions were made. Ms. Vasquez is going to then get a couple of them edited a little bit because there were some spelling or positional errors. And then we'll be going to the town's printer and getting them produced. And 1 sign per school will happen, and then also 1 at town hall. So great project. We encouraged them to get it written up so that we could both have it in the town newsletter as well as on our website, and then also to do a presentation either to town council, have that videoed, and then all different organizations could see it, or else come and do one for us at Green Efforts, and then we share that, one or the other, but get a couple of the kids and then Tara to come and do a presentation about the project. So it was really highly successful. They're very charged up, and she wants to continue it year after year. So she'll tweak it a little bit so that there's some kind of an action plan that can happen with the kids for the next years coming up. But She's very excited about that. And also they're very excited about getting involved with us on our other projects, and particularly the composting that we're talking about moving forward. So it's really a great connection for us as the Green Efforts Committee to be working with them, because there's actually, teachers that are really invested in trying to make this work and having the town connection and platform. Any questions? Anything to add, Shannon or Garrett?
No, I don't. I think you touched on everything. It was fun, and it went quicker than I thought it was going to. They had it laid out very nicely. For anyone that's been in Westwoods, there's large areas with bulletin boards. So they had them all pinned up on a bulletin board. So we're able to look at 25 at a time for each of the team, which made it really easy to compare all of them and see which ones stood out from a legibility standpoint. So it made the review of them a little simpler than I thought it might be initially. So, which was great. And when Kate, just for next steps, because we really didn't get a chance to chat before we left. I know you had reached out to Jim Rusbasin at one point to just find out if the signs could be made. I know he came back with the affirmative that they could be. Did you want to follow back up with him, or do you want me to?
Yeah, I will, because I'll get the original, once she gets them fixed. I mean, I'm going to call him anyway to say that we've got the approved ones, but they just need a little tweaking.
Okay.
And because I've spoken with them a couple of times, because I really wanted to verify how could they do it? Could they do it with any medium? I mean, all of that. And
sure.
It sounds like this printing company is willing to work with anything. So, which is great. So
yeah, it's a regular sign vendor. I just can't think of the name. So they'll do, not only do they do our street signs and various municipal signs that we need from a regulatory standpoint, but they do advertising signs as well. So I just, the name's escaping me at the moment. So.
Yeah, no problem. I'll follow up on that. The other thing I wanted to add to this project is I got deep involved. So I was trying to, I got the basic signs for the loading docks for all the schools and whatnot. But also I got introduced to a woman who is at Deep, we asked if she would do a 15-minute little tutorial for the kids about the anti-idling program and what it means, what the fuel, the fumes, do to the human body, that kind of stuff. And that happened. So she zoomed in, she actually was recorded, and then Tara was able to play that for all the teams. So that was really a neat connection as well.
Yeah, there's like a 10-minute video clip as part of the kids' curriculum. So that was really neat too.
Yeah, they made it multimedia.
Yes.
That sounds great. Any other questions for Kate?
So I have a question. Kate, this whole program with Westwoods it was going great, and I think that's a good thing to be involved with. But when I was talking to someone offline about the idling, clearly when in pickup situations like at Union School, where people park outside the school and idle, that's what we would like to see stopped. But some of the pickup places are a line of cars, and they pick up somebody and everybody moves ahead at car length, and then they pick up somebody else and everybody moves ahead of car length. Are we looking for have people to turn their cars off and on, or are those situations out of this?
Well, so if you look at, I don't know if you can have the opportunity to go on the Deep or the EPA's website, turning on and off your car, like say that you're sitting for 2 minutes or whatever, 3 minutes. So 3 minutes is what the regs are for the state of Connecticut. You're supposed to turn your cars, your cars off if you're going to idle for more than 3 minutes. If you're going to be for longer, you should be turning it off. And turning on and off your car actually doesn't use more gas than keeping the car running. So the recommendation by the EPA and Deep is that you turn it off. A lot of cars now do that automatically. You're sitting at the light and it goes off, but the older cars do not. I mean, if the line is moving, yeah, no, you're not going to turn it off and turn it on, in 2 seconds kind of thing. But, if it's going to be over 3 minutes, it's got to, we're trying to get people to do it, that they turn it off at that point. You know, the other thing in the regs is that if it's under 20 degrees, you don't need to follow that guideline, or, I mean, that law. So, you know, temperature is a thing, but in the same token, you know, hello, we live in the Northeast. I don't know about you guys, but with COVID, I'm not from here, I'm from Illinois, which gets cold too, but you can be outside for a long time, 20 degrees. You don't have to have your car on.
And
So I
I think,
think, I'm sorry, go ahead, Patty.
I was gonna say, I think part of the target too is the folks who show up 10, 20 minutes early to pick up their kids.
Yeah. One of the things that Tara was saying, that, you know, we get a lot of parents coming here that show up a half hour before, lining up, you know, and they got that car on the whole time. So the whole thing is, you know, there needs to be more movement on this to, you know, to educate the parents. You know, we always hope that the kids are going to go home and educate the parents, but that's why there needs to be opportunity to present this information. Parents get to see it, and that, you know, the write-up happens. I know we had that one little article in January, but you know, how do we expand out from here now? To your point, you know, people are parking far away from the school and idling, you know, they may not see that sign. I don't know. So.
Yep, and there's always the pickup, you know, the pickups for the kids for the after school. So, and they made reference to the, you know, sitting and waiting at bus stops and whatnot. So I think the point was, this is going to be a multi-year project. So there's one part at the school, but then to get each incoming class to try to take another bite at the apple and target some other element of this. So whether it's waiting at the bus stops or waiting at, you know, the sporting events or after school events, and starting to chip away at this to just broaden the spectrum of who gets this information.
And it's about the dialogue too, John. If you're getting questions about it, that means people are talking about it. That's a good thing. So I think it's just, you know, this is one step, as Shannon said, and we keep talking about it and mentioning it. And if anybody's ever been at school drop off, they have plenty of time to think about what they need to do. I only had to do that a couple of times. I think I'm still scarred. So anyhow, any other questions for Kate or on the anti-idling? Okay, awesome. Moving on to the next item, F1, simple recycling update.
Yes, so February numbers came in. So we get numbers at the end of the month. So I'm always kind of 1 month back because they don't have numbers for us by the time we have our next meeting. So I don't have March's numbers yet, but February numbers were just over 2 tons. And if everybody's okay, we can probably move this to a quarterly or twice a year update. Right now, everything seems to be going well. We're not having hiccups. So I think it was important when it first started to have monthly updates, but I don't know that it's really necessary at this point. At this point, it's just kind of more fun just to see how much stuff all our Farmington residents are still getting rid of 2 years into this adventure. So.
Is everybody comfortable with that, going to quarterly? I see her shaking their head, so I take it we're good. All right, perfect. Moving on to item 2, 2022 cleanup day. You want to take this one, Kate?
I'm gonna let Stacy start.
Stacy?
She's kicking it out of the park.
So the sign up geniuses are live. The signups are slow, but we just need to do a little bit more outreach. I'm waiting for, I'm not going to do it on Facebook until it's up on the flyers are up on the town website. So I'm just waiting for that to happen. And then I'll do like Talk of Farmington and our own page. Or should I do our page, or does the town do our page?
If you want to do it, go. If you want to do it, go for it. And I will poke at Diane again, because when you had mentioned it last week, I had just put it in front of her to get it on. So I didn't want to poke at her again, because she doesn't she works kind of part-time for us doing just this. She does the newsletters, she does promo stuff. She doesn't do, she's actually not even in town hall. I think I've seen her twice. So,
It's on
but
the main
I-
page of the town website.
Oh,
It
it is,
is?
okay.
If you,
Yeah,
yeah,
I
if you
did see it there yesterday.
Oh, awesome. Yeah,
In
I
the
hadn't
news
even
feed.
looked today.
So I'll start getting the word out. We've been in touch with the Girl Scouts and like the bike people are sending it out, and I've been in touch with Stanley Whitman and Kate sending it to the Land Trust people. So hopefully we'll get some teams signed up. And then the rummage sale has 6 signups so far, which is exciting. I know that at Relay for Life meeting on Monday, it was announced as a fundraising opportunity for teams. So that's great. And we've been working with the high school kids. The high school kids they requested that the Sign Up Genius have hour-long slots for the kids, which is fine. And they have promised that they're going to send it out this week to the high school kids. I mean, I have I have 2 high schoolers, and it's really hard to find volunteer opportunities. So unless you're connected. So I think this is a good opportunity, and I'm going to keep pushing the high schoolers to get involved. And yeah, so hopefully it doesn't rain and it's going to be
It's not
awesome.
going to. Don't even say that. Say that. One thing I just wanted to say as I'm looking at this, the Eco Club is not hosting the heaviest haul competition.
Where does it say that?
It says it halfway down, like right after the locations of the 4.
Those are not, I didn't write that.
You know, yeah.
It's probably just how it got interpreted from the flyer. We can get,
Okay.
it's probably 2 separate lines because I think the Tungus Mead location is hosted by the Eco Club, right?
Yeah.
And
So that's what happened when she did the flyer, and it's just how the formatting was. So that's
see.
fine. We can chat with her.
also
So
Bicycle Friendly Farmington is hosting the Tungus Meet. That's where it gets a little confusing. We have 2 things happening there. We got Bicycle Friendly Farmington / Rails to Trails organization and the Eco Club from Farmington High at the Tungus Mead athletic fields.
Right. And the new location is at IAR, not at Tungus Firehouse.
Correct.
Right.
So that needs to get corrected. So, yeah, and when I guess when I had talked to or emailed with Stacy, it sounded like the Eco Club was really hosting at Tungus Mead, but the bicycle committee was just kind of there doing their thing. They didn't want to be
Yeah.
responsible.
Well, they are actually giving out bags and stuff like that too. So like I think their idea is that they're part of this whole thing, right? So I don't think they're thinking that it's just about telling people about their organizations.
Okay.
They're going to do the bag and glove handout as well. So it's kind of, we're doubling down on one spot. I mean, the other option is we ask them to be someplace else.
No, that's fine. We can list both.
Just take out the hosted by, it's fine. I wrote hosted by thinking that's because those kids are going to be at the table doing all the work that day.
Well, I
Right.
think it's good to have it on there just because it might attract people to go there. You know, it's like, oh, wow, there's high school students. I don't know.
Okay, that's fine.
Wouldn't
We
attract
can,
me, but-
we can get that corrected, and we can get both organizations listed adjacent to the Tungus Mead or right below it, so it's clear that both organizations are there assisting at that location.
That'd be great.
So that's fine.
Great.
And we'll clean up where the new location identifier as well.
Okay.
So I haven't gone out to the website to look at the whole thing. I'm just seeing what's on the screen right now. But one of the things that concerns me is the fact that it seems to be saying that pickup is only occurring on the 23rd.
Correct.
And in prior years, we encouraged people to go out in the week before to pick up trash and bring it in for weighing on the 23rd. So that greatly increased the amount of trash we picked up because you can only pick up so much in 4 hours.
That is on the flyer, right, Stacy? We had that on the original flyer.
At the heaviest haul, trash may be collected between the 1st and the 23rd under the heaviest haul competition.
Yeah, so maybe, oh yeah, there it is. Trash may be collected from April 1st to 23rd.
Okay, I just can't see it. That's blocked out on my screen.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah, you just got to slide your panel of attendees over. So if you
Yeah,
slide your panel over, then you'll see the
Yes,
other
I can
part.
see it now. Yes, thank you.
so John's the one that actually came up with the rules and regs back in the day on this.
Oh, nice.
And the single item of 25 pounds was a brilliant one because we would get a lot of those and people would be very sad when they learned that it wasn't 200 pounds they got for it. It was 20.
The people coming in with wrecked cars.
That's right.
I found this in the driveway.
Right.
All right.
Yeah, so if anybody has time that day and would sign up for a 3-hour slot, I would love you forever.
I plan on doing so. I actually have to coach hockey in the middle of that morning, but as soon as that's done, I'll run over. So I was kind of waiting towards the end to kind of fill a gap.
Perfect, love it. Thank you.
So we can talk offline. It's usually how I go. I try to take the worst spots that no one wants.
Great.
So.
So state,
Go ahead.
Oh, go ahead.
sorry, I was just going to say I had a question regarding, because I haven't looked at the link yet for the Sign Up Genius. Is it just for teams to sign up, or is it also for volunteers to sign up to help host the table? And do you still
Both.
need?
Both. Yep. So the first one are for people cleaning up, and if you go down a little bit further, it's 3-hour slots at each. And they're called site assistants.
Okay, got it.
Yeah. The Sign Up Genius isn't really friendly to people who don't want to pay for their subscription. So
Right.
I worked on changing the Tunxus slots to hour-long for too much time. And I was like, it looks stupid, but I cannot make it stick all the Tunxus slots together. Like it was,
Okay.
I couldn't, because it wants it to be in order. So
Right.
you can see like that as soon as the firehouse goes 10:30 to 11:30, it won't keep the athletic fields 11, whatever.
Yeah.
I lost my mind and decided it was fine. So
It's fine. No, got it. No, I'm glad so that's perfect. I'll get, I've got time that day and I can get signed up.
So
Thank
Stacy, I'm going to send it out to the usuals that sign up every year for me.
Thank you.
Who wouldn't necessarily get this any other way. So I don't think it's going to be an issue to get those little spots filled, particularly since we got Tunxus Mead fully covered. One thing will have to happen though over at Tunxus Mead is, check-ins by people who know what's going on, just to make sure
Yeah.
that, it's not going crazy out there.
Those crazy high schoolers. They're probably
Alright.
those women are probably more mature than half of us.
That's probably true.
Off to Duke and Northeastern. So yeah.
Holy moly. Now, are you planning on being at Tunxus, Stacy, or are you planning on being over at IAR, or you
I'll
haven't?
be at IAR because this rummage sale thing is my baby, and
Okay.
And I'll be
So would
there.
it be helpful then if I signed up to be at Tunxus then? Because I've done this before. I can certainly.
Yeah.
You know what? Yeah,
Please.
that's a great
Or-
idea.
yeah, or one of the
No,
Yeah.
because I'll be doing the rounds on the other places. They don't need anyone from the committee really necessarily at the others. Because if I get the old folk, not the old folks, but the repeat volunteers, they know what they're doing. Because really it's one of the brilliant ideas that Stacy had, every year I've had that dirty list and, it delineates what part of town it is. And had, everybody texting each other when they sent someone somewhere. She's like, Kate, last year that was a nightmare. There were texts coming in like crazy. So what we're going to do this year is each each place, Tunx's Hose or whatever, is only going to have their segment to send people out on. And then that way they don't have to tell anybody anything. Everybody will have the full dirty list, but if they send someone someplace else, well, c'est la vie. But that's going to just kind of streamline it a little bit better and make it a little less hectic.
Okay.
And
Sounds good.
then we got stickers to change the dates on the signs. Kate ordered those, and Kate has a friend to put them out,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah, she and I are going to do it. Yeah. Mhm.
So those. And did we have questions about when we're allowed, or you already know when you're
Yeah,
allowed?
no, Shannon, do I have to fill out that form for the signs, to put the signs out?
Technically, or we can, and
Yeah.
Do you mind just like?
I'm the one that
technically,
signs off on it,
technically,
so.
yes, but yeah, I mean, go ahead.
Okay,
It's just go ahead, Kate.
I
Yeah,
won't put
you
it
guys
on.
are fine.
yeah, we won't put them on state land. And then I have.
Well,
the-
I mean, you've done this enough that you know
Yeah.
where they can and can't go. Stacy, we can get you the form just so that you see it and you understand, but it is a little, there are some particulars with where the signs can and can't go, so that we don't have various neighborhood people calling us or the town manager's office, and then we're relocating said signs. So.
Yeah,
I'm
and
a
the-
little familiar from my PAC work.
Sure. Oh, sure. Yep.
The other thing that happens is they take them and then they're gone.
Well,
wish
not
we
always.
could
Normally,
get
if we can't relocate them, then normally we pick them up and they're at our office.
The state though, they get rid of them.
Oh, if the state, then forget it. I got no control over that. If the
Yeah.
state swipes them.
If they do, you have to go to the local garage. for
You know
this.
what? I've done that, Johnny, and I found them sometimes.
Sometimes.
No, I've
Hey,
learned.
I have a pretty specific question about the cleanup day. I'm not sure if anybody knows, but in terms of when someone's assigned to a section of town, if like, do they need a car to do that? If somebody has like mobility issues, is there like a transportation option?
I mean, that's a really good question. We do not have a transportation system set up. One would have to either get a ride by someone or, choose a site that's near the spot where you pick up your mat, your gloves and your bags. Anyone else want to comment on that at least historically?
No, I concur. I mean, that's kind of why we have 4 sites and they're spread throughout town, and it's great. Now we've got them. Most of them are in walking distance to larger neighborhoods. So that's the intent. It's not necessarily walking distance to everybody. I couldn't walk to one, but they are walking distance to many people. But yeah, no, there is no mass transit.
Gotcha. Thank you.
Mhm. And
That was Jennifer, by the way.
yeah,
Yeah,
Jennifer
sorry, I
joined
should have
us.
said that. This is Jennifer. Yeah, I'm on the phone today. Just hectic evening. Thank you.
And Patty, I'd seen your hand up earlier. You're all set?
I'm all set. Though I'll add, I did plug it at the Board of Ed meeting last night, because there were actually some members of the public in the audience. So yeah, we'll see.
Awesome.
Thanks, Patty.
Thank
Yeah, and I mentioned the tag sale too, and also made a note of saying, no, we are not taking donations. You have to take it home with you after.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, we were so lucky. I mentioned it at the council meeting last night too, but we didn't have anybody in the public. So apparently we're not very important.
Well, Johnny, we do have the advantage that we have little kids that present at the beginning. So there's a draw
That
there.
works.
I did reach out to a charity to see if they would come at the end and take any, like some of those charities like Heart Springs or whatever will take all the stuff. And I didn't hear from the first one, so I'm going to move on to another one. So, but it will be a major priority of the volunteers at the IAR site to guard the town dump truck that's part of the heaviest haul to prevent people from junking their unsold items. That will be important.
I can help with that.
Big.
All right.
Little muscle.
Yeah.
All right. Any other last comments on cleanup day? Anything else we need? Okay. Then moving on to the next item, discussion on composting.
Hey, any update? The town doesn't have anything. I'm talking to Blue Earth off and on about what we could do for the town, but I know Kate was talking with Tracy for doing it at Westwoods for next year.
Oh, did you want me to say something about that, Garrett?
No, I don't know if you have an update. Sure.
Oh, okay.
If not, that would be good.
Yeah, no update today. Sorry.
Question. Should we ask if they want to put up a tent at one of the cleanup day sites, or is that not okay because it's a private business, just to just to be available and talk about their services, but it is a business, so I don't know if would be allowed.
That's a good
My-
question.
It's a good question, and my problem is I don't know enough about potential competition. So we could, if I knew that we were able to offer an equal opportunity to the competitor at one of the other locations, because I was of the impression there's at least one other group that will do curbside type pickup. I just haven't done any,
Okay.
I haven't been doing the research, but I'm not opposed to it as long as we don't get caught on not providing an equal. I mean, obviously, if we end up with 30 of them, which I know there aren't, obviously we couldn't accommodate that, but we could certainly have, one at one location and one at a different location, or
Okay.
or at least provide the opportunity whether they took it or not.
Okay. Unless anyone else knows the second company, I will try to figure out what it is and send an email and just say, hey, this is what we're doing. Do you want to have? I'm just trying to think of I would love it to be like everything green on that day, but little bites, right?
Right. Little bits at a time. Right.
Don't try a million new things on the same day.
Yes, Stacy, let's just, I think you've got a lot, we have a lot happening. Maybe just, yeah.
Maybe we can always start with, because I know we had talked about maybe doing so after we're finished with the cleanup day, we can maybe consider doing a community event, like a community education evening about composting, and whether we have somebody from Deep In or Blue Earth, and maybe structure an evening event that we do a discussion.
Yeah, sounds great.
Okay. All right. Moving on to other discussion on EV charging stations.
Yep. So I met with our electrician. He did some electrical monitoring at Town Hall and at the Staples House. He has some concerns about the capacity of both sites. So I've reached out to some of the electrical vehicle charging station installers in the state that work through the Eversource grant to get the spec sheets for their electrical requirements. So he's going to take a look at those this week, and then hopefully we can move forward with that. We think it might be Town Hall just because we're currently doing construction there as well. So doing it at the same time would be easy if we can get it done in the next month or so, if possible, but that's where we stand with that. So just still gathering information before pulling the trigger. That's all.
Okay, perfect. Any questions for Garrett?
Garrett, do you have any idea whether the high school reconstruction or construction project is going to include there?
I don't believe so. Maybe I haven't been part of the high school. Johnny or Shannon, do you have any?
I mean, I've been more than involved. on that project. But I can't say that that has come up. Most of the stuff that we've been dealing with lately has been enabling and kind of getting the project underway, and the design documents just got finished. So we're just starting to dive into more of the details at this point. But from a site plan perspective, nobody's really brought that up. That's a good question. I think our next meeting is canceled, but I will ask that at the next meeting. And I can even reach out a little ahead of time and make sure I've got some answers on that.
Thank you.
Thanks, Johnny. Like, yeah, you're on the building committee, so you're the.
The building committee, building subcommittee, work group,
Yeah.
committee. There's like 15 other committees. I can't even keep track of them anymore. But yes, it is moving along though. Different discussion for different day.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, I'll definitely look into that. That's a really good question. All right, unless there's any other questions on the charging station, moving on to the bylaws update. So, Garrett, this is more procedural than anything, right? We were just,
Yes, so all it does is it's a revision to the document to say that Johnny is the chair and that I'm the recording secretary. It's basically like voting to appoint, but because the chair is appointed by town council, it's not really that way. So it's really just updating the document that we have.
okay. The only thing I would ask is that my name gets spelled as Johnny. Yes, it's.
Sorry, Johnny.
No, that is my legal name, and I get that question all the time, so there's definitely no offense taken there. But other than that, I think it looks good. Do we have to have a formal vote on that?
Yes.
Okay. Any other comments or questions? Actually, I'd entertain a motion and then we can discuss it, I guess. Someone has a motion.
Johnny,
Yes,
just a small point. You spell Johnny with an H?
I do.
Oh, I just made a typo. There we go.
Thank you, John. I
I
appreciate
can
that.
do that.
I've got my little laptop and the screen's like 10 inches wide, so I can't even see anything on it.
Anything else? No, we're good.
Appreciate that. Can I get a motion to approve the rules of procedure?
I move to approve the rules of procedure.
Okay, do I have a second? Great. Discussion? All right, hearing none. All in favor?
Hi.
Hi.
Aye. Okay. Before we jump into adjournment, when we were at the council meeting, I know this was my first meeting when I got on the Green Efforts. You guys are talking about mirror and the capacities and all that. It's just more of an update, but yesterday at council, we talked about signing an agreement with Murphy Road LLC to be our place of disbursement. And I know that there's some of the dialogue that we had yesterday at the council meeting where that I think 14 cities or towns, mostly the bigger ones, have already moved. And Farmington is looking to make that change as well, and will be making that change in the very near future.
Johnny, where is that?
Right down the road, Murphy Road. I guess Mirror is on Murphy Road.
Okay.
And so
Are
Murphy,
they built, do they have a facility? Where's the trash going after they take it?
I don't know. We heard it yesterday for the first time, and it was more a vote to move forward.
Okay.
I'll have more information for the next meeting. I just wanted to get you guys up to date, but we didn't get into details at all. It's something I have to kind of dig into afterwards.
Okay. Yeah, I'm just curious because there aren't any places in Connecticut, so I'm curious how far away it's going to be taken.
Yeah, no, it's a really good question, and I know what we were considering yesterday was more on the fee side,
Right.
and from what we were told from our Joe Schwecke is that the tipping fees have been subsidized. They have to kind of keep them in line, and that is what is kind of causing the issue. I guess I have all the experience on this subject, so if I say something crazy, let me know. But after hearing that yesterday, I know that I've got to follow up on the, on the backside just to figure out a little bit more so that as we talk about this, we know more of what's going on and what's happening. So,
Well, feel free to lean on the committee and bring stuff to us in the interim and let us help you research or whatever you need so that we can make
Yeah,
the best.
And Johnny, I'm already that's part of my job is I advise municipalities on this stuff. So if you
Okay.
want me to talk to you offline, happy to
that would be
fill
awesome.
you in. And my role as a committee, I'm just going to clarify, not in my role as an attorney, but in my role as a committee member, I'm happy to share what I know.
Okay. I like that. All right, perfect. Thank you. Anything else before we adjourn?
One question.
Yep.
Are we in the future going to be going to on-site meetings as opposed to Zoom meetings?
Yes, we're working on it with our IT department because we still have to offer the hybrid option. We've had some technical issues, but we're meeting with IT tomorrow to see if we can figure all that out. Because I think the executive order ends at the end of the month, and I don't think it was extended into July. I know
it
we
was
discussed
extended.
it. Oh, it was?
Yeah, I thought they extended it for a whole nother year. I thought it got extended to, because I'm pretty sure it got extended to April 2023.
It could be. Maybe I missed it.
I
So,
mean, it's because we're in the world of Zoom for the last 2 years. Where were you guys meeting previous to this?
At the
Council chambers.
council chambers.
Okay. And I know that even just from discussion with you, Shannon, there are some boards that are staying either hybrid or in person. So I think once we figure out what that is, we could probably have that discussion if we want to continue this way or not. And I know that from council's met for a good part through this. High school building committee's been kind of following the school rules. So as the meeting in person and stuff, we've been back for the last couple of months in person because we typically meet in the high school. So that's always been the biggest thing. But like boards like TPZ and inland wetlands, I think are still meeting by Zoom.
Correct.
There's a mixture out there.
Right. TPZ is anxious to get back, but we have to because of how the amended executive order, the current status. It has to be a hybrid meeting. We can't do just all in person. And because our meetings are so presentation heavy and lots of documentation, that's where the challenge, we're now on our third meeting with IT trying to figure it out because it's so different as to how we have to run the land use meetings from how town council runs. And the public participation can be very, very different. So we're working through that so we don't need 10 people in the background running all the IT stuff just to take care of one land use meeting, because we have 7 of them a month. When you include things like green efforts and our historic district meetings and whatnot that are a little less labor intensive, but nonetheless, we need to be mindful as to how those are being handled. So, but in the end, green efforts, most likely it's not going to be a mandatory, it'll be a consensus as to what the group wants to do. We have asked that if there is a thought to come back into and do live, that it's a majority are there with us live, and there's the handful that are calling in because of a conflict that came up or a situation with, kids came up that couldn't, last minute thing that couldn't be avoided, as opposed to, it's rainy today, I don't feel like coming into the meeting. Because there is a lot that goes into it. There is an extra step with having to do these hybrid. So we will ask that it's a majority in person if that's what the group decides to do.
And I think I think I would agree with that. If we're, escaping any executive order stuff, I think that it would be a majority of this committee. I would kind of lean that way. I will say from experience, our hybrid meetings, especially on our working group meetings for high school, have been extremely difficult. Just because you have members both sides and you can't always hear correctly. You're repeating a lot of the stuff, so they tend to drag on a little longer. So I I would second Shannon's comments on having a majority if we do it.
Yeah, I agree. It's difficult with Board of Ed to have some members Zooming and some members in person.
So, all right, so you'll, for the next meeting, I guess we'll figure out what it is we can and can't do, and then we can have an honest discussion on, you know, kind of where the committee lands. If that's good with everybody. Okay.
Yep.
All right, any last questions? Okay, perfect. Then if not, then I'll take a motion to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All right, all those in favor?
All right.
Bye.
Okay, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Bye.
Night.
Thank you.